Rise, my new apprentice. What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today, from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at the brand new Deluxe Jar Jar Binks from the Phantom Menace. This is not an exclusive anywhere. However, it has been hitting targets quite early, which is where I found mine, way ahead of the online release date, currently listed as March. At least that's what mine was on Big Bad Toy Store before I canceled that pre-order, because of course today, January 1st, 2021, our local Target got in a nice little case of Jar Jar Binks. It was a super easy hunt. I love when things just go right. Justin and I met up at the store. We walked inside. Jar Jar Binks was already on the shelf. We picked the ones with the best paint apps, left the others for some other collectors, and then continued on with our day. I just absolutely love when a hunt is so stress-free. And of course, I can't believe we finally have a Jar Jar Binks figure in the line. I feel like this was a long time coming. And as you can see, he looks absolutely fantastic in the package, so let's not waste a whole lot of time. We're going to take a quick look at the box and then dig into the figure. So here, this is our very first figure of the Phantom Menace line. You can see it says Jar Jar Binks there down at the bottom. On the side here, you have some nice artwork of Jar Jar. On the back here is his bio, if you want to pause it and read it now. And then, of course, a larger look at that piece of artwork, and he is number 1 from the Phantom Menace. Here's the logo on the other side of the box. Here's the barcode and all that good stuff on the bottom. And then, of course, there is nothing on the top. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this guy out of the package. We'll take a look at the accessories, and then we will take a look at the figure itself. All right, and first up here, we have the Gungan Spear, which comes in 2 pieces in the box, and you just simply plug the one end into the other end, and it works perfectly fine there. And then, of course, you could take a look at some of these details up close. It is mostly just like a goldish kind of plastic, but it does have some brown plastic for the grip area, and then some more accent up here. And then you can just take a look. There is the end of the weapon. You can see it does have some sculpted details on it right there. And yeah, it looks good. I honestly think the accessories are a little bit of a mystery when it comes to Jar Jar. I mean, of course, I know he used or held these in the actual movie itself, but I kind of wish that we would have got maybe some alternate hands or an alternate head for Jar Jar as opposed to these weapons, because I feel like most people would want to have like a silly, goofy Jar Jar head, and you'll see when we look at the figure, and I'm sure you saw it when it was in the box, but it's just kind of a neutral expression. And then we also have the energy shield here as well, which is some really nice purple, clear, translucent plastic here. You can see it's definitely more purple on the outside, like a ring around, which really represents that energy shield effect pretty accurately. Does have some nice gold details on it as well. And here's the inside, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Of course, I always love having some nice translucent plastic, but we don't really see Jar Jar hold this shield for too long in Phantom Menace, if my memory serves. And then my favorite accessory to come with the figure is the bomba in the sort of, I believe this was kind of like a slingshot thing, if memory serves, on the movie. This nice blue ball on top here is some more translucent plastic, so that is nice. And then, of course, the handle grip here is pretty accurate. Looks just how I remember it in the movie itself, but it doesn't have any paint on it at all. It's just kind of like a gunmetal gray plastic, but this accessory is awesome. I love the translucent plastic that they included with Jar Jar. As you guys know, I'm just a sucker for translucent plastic. But yeah, overall, I honestly have to say that I would have much rather had some alternate hands or some alternate heads, or just one alternate head with the figure, so that we could get that more goofy representation of Jar Jar Binks that we all know and love. But ultimately, I'm not upset that we got the energy shield and the spear and the Boomba here. So now let's go ahead and we'll take a look at Jar Jar himself. All right, and here is Jar Jar out of the packaging, looking absolutely fantastic. This is truly some great work by the Hasbro Star Wars team here. The details of Jar Jar have been absolutely nailed in action figure form, which is of course no real surprise. I mean, Hasbro always does a great job with the alien characters in the line. But Jar Jar, in addition to having some really nice paintwork, some really nice sculpted details, also has some really nice mobility in the articulation department. But of course, you could see what I am talking about here once it rotates around back to the head sculpt itself. It's just kind of a little stoic for Jar Jar. It's not something I would picture Jar Jar ever looking like. He's always smiling or sticking his tongue out or something like that. But on this figure, he just kind of has like a blank expression on his face. But I still think ultimately this figure is really nice. So let's go ahead. We're going to take him off the stand and we will get a closer look at those details. All right, and here is Jar Jar up close and personal, and just take a look at that head sculpt right off of the bat. Hasbro absolutely nailed the look of Jar Jar here. Besides the stoic expression, this figure is fantastic. The details in the eyes are insane. There's some really great paint work going on there. Just the overall sculpt of the head, the paint application, the way it goes from that lighter sort of beigeish tone on his snout to the more orangish red of the back of his head just looks absolutely incredible. His ears also have some really fantastic work on them, some really great paint application. They're also nice and soft and pliable, so if he takes a shelf dive, you're not going to have to worry about them potentially breaking off, which is a really nice touch. And they sort of have like a glossy sheen over them as well, and I just love the subtle paint throughout the ears, just to give it that little bit more oomph and to really just bring out that solid sculpted details there. And also these on the ends of his ears are also painted all across the board. It's like a nice gray color, but of course you can see not all of them got painted all the way. Not that that's a huge deal. It is the back of the head after all. And then of course moving down here, you can see his vest is a nice soft plastic that in theory you can take it off, although I do believe, actually no it's not. You can remove the vest if you so like. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to get off. I'm not going to do it myself, but there is his undershirt with some nice neck details there as well, although it is definitely a different skin tone from the neck to this little piece, because it is two separate pieces here from the neck to this lower neck piece. The arms themselves have, of course, Jar Jar's classic skin design put on them, and it almost looks like it was applied the way that photoreal is typically applied. You can kind of see like the dots and how it fades in, because the underneath of the arm, of course, movie accurate, like, is just the plain sort of like beigeish skin, and it looks awesome. And also I do want to note that the vest does have like a nice little wash on it as well. Looks absolutely fantastic. Really great details on Jar Jar here. The skirt piece here is floating. It is not connected to anything, so you can move it around a little bit, and it doesn't have that wash that the vest has, but it still does have some wrinkles sculpted into it, which looks nice. Then of course moving down to the legs, some more sculpted texture on the pants, and then some ripples going all the way down. It looks very nice. And of course this figure is a brand new mold top to toe, and Hasbro really put a lot of great work into this figure. Looking at the feet here, you've got his 3 toes. His nails are painted. He also does have some peg holes there down at the bottom, thankfully, although this guy is pretty sturdy. He stands up very well. And then finally, just the last little bit of detail here, his nails are also painted as well. So there is a lot of paint on this guy, which is a good thing considering my previous review of Queel. That was kind of my main complaint about the figure, was that there was no paint on it. But then Hasbro comes out of the woodwork with this Jar Jar Binks figure, and he's absolutely loaded up with paint. So that's a good thing. Of course, this is technically a deluxe figure, so it is at a higher price point. So yeah, there you go. There is a look at Jar Jar's details. I think he looks absolutely incredible. Of course, wish we could have got an alternate head, but I think overall, those details are absolutely fantastic. So now let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at his articulation. All right, so for his head, Jar Jar can actually look up very far. He has independent head articulation right here at the top of his neck, and then again at the bottom of the neck as well. So he can also look down a decent amount. You can get it to force a little bit more, but it kind of wants to pop back up. But really great stuff here. Of course, you can give him the Exorcist, rotate his head all the way around, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. His shoulders can move all the way out as well. They also rotate around. He does not have butterfly joints, which was surprising. I figured he would have. Although the articulation is pretty solid, to where I think that the butterfly joints really don't matter all that much for someone like Jar Jar. You get a single jointed elbow that gives you just a smidge more than 90 degrees there. Of course, you have rotation at the elbow as well, and he is pinless on the arms. His wrist rotates around and unfortunately has a horizontal hinge, which when you hinge it, you get a really nice look at the joint itself there. And his other gripping hand also rotates around and has the same horizontal hinge, which you do get a wide range of motion out of that wrist, but always prefer the vertical pegs. As far as the legs go, he can actually kick out really far with his foot on the ground there. You can get Jar Jar to do the splits about that much. He does feature a thigh swivel. He can kick back about that far. The double knee works perfectly, of course. And then down to his feet here, can move down about that far. They can move up a decent amount as well, and he does still have ankle pivot. For the crunch, really nothing forward. He can move forward a little bit, but it doesn't want to stay. And he can crunch back very far. And of course, you get side to side and rotation as well. So yeah, honestly, Jar Jar moves very well. He's got that great neck articulation. You can get those Gungan poses out of him. Really what you would want out of a Jar Jar Binks figure. Get him into some goofy looking poses. Tons of attitude and silliness, which I think would have been even better if we would have had that damn alternate head. Now that we've got the details and the articulation out of the way, let's go ahead and set him back here, and I'll show you how he scales. First up, here he is with Qui-Gon Jinn and Padawan Obi-Wan. Then we have him with the new 2020 Clone Trooper. That's, of course, the Phase 1 Clone Trooper. And then the classic Clone Trooper Commander. And here he is with Darth Maul and a B1 battle droid. And then we have him with the Episode 2 Padme and the Bandai Scarif Trooper model kit. And of course, the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper and the SH Figuarts IG-11. And there you have it, folks. There was my review of the Deluxe Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars The Black Series. Are you going to pick this figure up, or are you going to pass on it? Why or why not? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. Of course, I'm Nate. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time on Out of the Basement.